Buttercup. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a Q&A because today, as of today, I've been on BookTube / AuthorTube for 6 years. Can you believe it? There was quite a few times where I didn't post that much, but it was at least somewhat consistent. So I'm counting it 6 years. I asked you all on Facebook and Goodreads and YouTube in the community section to send questions either publicly or privately. So I'm going to read the public ones first and show you on the screen, and then I'm going to go into the private questions that were sent through me through direct message on some of the whatever platforms that they were. And let's just get started. The first question is, what's your favorite mythological creature? From Adam. Thank you, Adam. Elves are my favorite, and then fairies overall. That includes house fairies. Number 2, what's your favorite book since you've joined YouTube? And that is a lot, because that's 6 years. But just off the top of my head, it would be The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Basically, like, most of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books are fantastic. Demon Copperhead, Dead Inside, and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Look, fairy, there we go. Number 3, what's the best thing that's happened to you on BookTube so far? And I'm gonna say meeting and befriending a bunch of cool people, including Emma. Hi. Number 4, what's your favorite video you filmed this year? And I'm just gonna go with the guide to writing about weapons and firearms correctly for writers, and the trash man just decided to show up. Thanks. Driving away now, I guess. We're just gonna pause and wait for this guy to be done because it's so loud. Oh my god. That was a good 3 minutes of waiting that I cut out, and I think you can still hear him down the road, but I don't have the time or patience for that for another like minute or two, so we're just gonna jump back in. Number 5, this is where we start the anonymous questions, and I put this one in particular in the middle because it's a little heavy. Maybe, possibly, depends on the person who's watching. But how do you get high self-esteem? I'm having a hard time gaining confidence compared to my peers in college. You have a lot of self-esteem, so I thought I'd just randomly ask. I would note that peers sharing stuff on their social media, that doesn't mean that they are living it up or they have confidence or anything like that, because they're sharing what they want you to see, whether that's gorgeous, rich, having a fun time, having self-confidence. I think people kind of are becoming aware of that, but I just want to put that out there. And there's a lot of, especially on Instagram, a lot of Instagram models that are just faking it all. But like, it looks like their life is absolute perfection. They're having a fantastic time, but that's not the case. So I think it's coming out with people either like accidentally outing themselves or other people saying, oh, like, I don't think that's legit, and then an apology tour happens. So don't focus on the social media aspect. I would not at all. What I think needs to happen is that you need to determine the possible cause or causes of the low self-esteem. Like, is it trauma, which would be, you know, do you have PTSD, trauma, doesn't matter which type of trauma. Do you have other mental illnesses? Were you not socialized as a young child or teen or even teenager, and therefore your low self-esteem is just from that and not even a mental illness? So on and so forth. Determining that based on those things, I would look into therapy. I wouldn't self-diagnose, but you're gonna have an idea, possibly, you know, if you were, for example, I'm not saying that you personally or the person watching, people's watching, this example is drawing from anyone, but let's say, you know, you were beaten by your mom or your dad, and they said, don't talk unless you're spoken to, and if you do, or if you did talk, then you were beaten. That is traumatic, And that could be the reason why you don't have any self-esteem and you don't want to interact with people. And that's why, you know, maybe you don't have a lot of friends, or maybe you just have one friend, or you have friends and you can't hold on to them. You know, there are a lot of reasons why. That would be just one of dozens, if not probably hundreds of examples. And that would, I would say, warrant a conversation with a trauma specialist, and you go from there. Maybe you also have generalized anxiety disorder, maybe you have social anxiety, maybe you have depression. I don't know what you have, but that's why you look to a trauma specialist first to determine if you have PTSD, and if they, especially if you have abuse in your past, whatever that may be, I would go with a trauma specialist first. And then, because they deal with other mental illnesses, because you're not just going to have PTSD, you're going to have at least one other mental illness, if not multiple. I have 6, okay? But 5 of them, well, you could argue social anxiety as debatable of genetics or not, but let's just say 4, possibly 5 of them were from genetics, and my PTSD, not from genetics, that was from abuse. But I know that therapy can be very costly. It really depends on you. So if you decide to go into therapy, work with your therapist on that. If you can't go to therapy, or you don't want to go to therapy, we have some options for you regarding YouTube resources. And then from there, they'll give these YouTube channels that I've picked out that I watch all the time as well. Then they also will give you resources on their own. But first one is Mended Light, and John from Cinema Therapy runs that YouTube channel with his wife. And then they have programs connected to Mended Light that you can join, or you can also see John for therapy. I don't know what his costs are or anything like that. That would be research for you. But he's a fantastic therapist, and he gets really deep and in-depth on his Mended Light YouTube channel. I recommend that very much. Also, Therapy in a Nutshell. Love her. Love that channel. She also has various classes on different types of mental illnesses and disorders that you can pay for. It's not going to be as much as therapy, so that is an option. And of course, her YouTube channel, YouTube videos are all free, so that is a free resource. And then the next one, Psychology with Anna, she talks about philosophy and psychology peer reviews fairly often, and then she incorporates that with therapy. And then if you need therapy, which therapy might you need. And I really like the philosophy tie-ins with therapy and anxiety disorders specifically, because practicing mindfulness is a huge deal. You don't have to meditate, though. That is extremely recommended as well. Yoga is also very much recommended if you're dealing with mental illnesses, because that is a physical meditation that gets you in touch with your body. And a lot of people are not in touch with their body, and they have no idea what's going on. Like, if you tell them, what is this sensation in your left foot, they're like, what are you talking about? But I can tell you the sensation in my left foot. Sounds weird, yes, but it's very important to be able to focus on a specific area of your body and note and just acknowledge that feeling, or that sensation, or anything like that of what's going on. You need to be in touch and in tune with your body to start the healing process, especially with trauma, but also with the other mental illnesses and mental disorders, because trauma is very much a body and mind connection. And if you want to know about that, I suggest Peter Levine, Waking the Tiger, and Bessel van der Kolk's The Body Keeps the Score, because the trauma is in your mind, yes, but it is also in your body. and you need to work through that. If you need extra help, just, you know where to find me, because you found me. Number 6, when is Murderous Fairies coming out? Because I have it for pre-order June 2024, and I just put the pre-order up so people can pre-order it. Great concept. After reading Obsidian Murders, and if they want to, then they just hit that pre-order button, we're good to go. It's not going to be June 2024, but when I have the book finalized and all that stuff, then I'm going to move up that date. Just keep your eyes out for it, or just pre-order it even though it says June 2024, and then you get updates through email, through Amazon, about the pre-order being moved up. The next question, number 7, are you abandoning your given name? And no, I have ideas about a Spartacus Rebellion historical fiction duology, but I am more focused on urban fantasy right now because I have those ideas and I'm having a fun time writing those ideas, even though right now I'm having just a little bit, not as big as before, just a little bit of a problem with Murderous Fairies, though I did write a bunch of words lately because I'm doing the bare bones technique and not focusing on chapter count or word count or anything like that, just putting them in the story. So there is great progress for that one. But yeah, I am just focusing on urban fantasy right now because I have the most ideas for urban fantasy. And also when I do historical fiction, it takes years because that's just how I am. So I'm gonna do a lot of research for the Spartacus Rebellion and just everything involved to make it as accurate as possible. Number 8, very simple question. Do you ever wear makeup? Only when I go on dates with my husband and for big events, maybe a baby shower or wedding or whatever. Yeah, I don't wear makeup. This is without makeup. I don't think I've ever had makeup in a video. Yeah, I don't think so. I'll do my nails. You see my nails right now are not painted. I had gel nail polish on for like 3 weeks or something, and I had to take that off, and my nails are a little angry with me, so I'm letting them breathe. Now, I know a lot of nail techs are like, that's not a thing. Okay, well, it's a thing for me, so. My nails are just clean right now. That's basically all that I do. I wear earrings sometimes, but I'm not a big jewelry person, especially just around the house. I don't think that's necessary. And I am still married. I just don't wear rings other than like dates or big events. I'm not that type of person, honestly. Number 9, are you still a pantser now that you're outlining? And okay, very basic outlines. And I don't think, I haven't met anyone that is fully what you say a pantser. Now, I think a lot of pantsers are doing outlines, but they don't count that as an outline. And I say that because when you think of an outline, you're writing everything out from beginning, middle to end. And that is one way that you outline. Absolutely. That's an in-depth outline. However, if you know the beginning, middle, and end, like an overall story, that's an outline. If you know the beginning and the end, but you don't know so much in the middle, and that's where you kind of pants it, you're still outlining. If you know the whole background of all of your characters, or maybe you know all the background of your main characters and the basic story, that's still outlining. I know it's a wild thought, but that counts as outlining. I have never met a 100% pantser where they don't know anything and then they just write it out. I don't think that's possible because you at least know your main character and the basics of your main character and what is the basic plot. That's an outline. It's a basic outline, but it's still, you know what you're doing. You're not just flying off and just typing like this. I don't know what's going on, but I have a story. No, like, you got something in there in your little noggin. Yes, you do. I don't think you need to write stuff out to have an outline. Weird concept, right? But I don't think you need that, because I was talking to Thomas on the interview with the Fox, and I was saying all the stuff that I do, and he's like, you outline, you just don't write it out. I'm like, yeah, it's true. And I have never met someone that doesn't know anything about their story or the plot or the theme or their characters or anything like that. So yeah, I'm still a pantser. Number 10, what writing programs do you use? I use Atticus for formatting, Scrivener for drafting, how many drafts that is, and then the finished product is converted into a Word file. Finished product, what I think is a finished product is converted into a Word file from Scrivener, and I give that to my editor, and then she does, you know, the fixes, all that stuff, and then I fix it to the best of my ability, and then I upload it to Atticus. That's where I format, and then I get a physical proof copy, and then I go through and highlight all the stuff that I want to nitpick and also find typos, because there's always a freaking typo in there. No matter what. I hate it. Also, it's just, when you fix something, there is, like, I don't know, 30%, 40% chance. There's a percentage of the chance that you then create another typo. And I've seen it happen, not just with myself, but like all the authors. It doesn't even matter if it's self-published. I've seen traditionally published authors that I can tell that they fixed something, but then that just created another typo. Oh my God, I can't. It's just, I hate typos and I hate all that stuff, but it really, like, what, you can only do so much. There is no such thing as 100% perfect manuscript. Does it drive me a little crazy? Yes. However, this is where we as writers, and just me in general with my OCD and my perfectionism issue, we gotta let it go. We gotta let that go. That need for 100% perfect control. Yes. I get a little, just a little tickle in my brain, like, what are you saying that it's not going to be 100% perfect, Nicole? My brain wants to, you know, just go off the deep end, but I'm like, yes. No such thing as 100% perfect manuscript. Moving on to the last question, so I don't upset my brain. Have you ever thought of doing live streams? Lots of writers and booktubers are doing it now. And yes, but my computer's old and my Wi-Fi is shit. So I don't do live streams. I go on other people's live streams on the very rare occasion, and then my internet poops out, and then I have to rejoin the streams like all the freaking time, and that's why I don't do live streams on my own, because internet drops out and I'm gone, the live stream ends, right? Like, so I don't want to be doing live streams like 5 times in a row. I don't know how they work, but like, let's say hypothetically every time I drop I have to do another live stream. Do you want 5 live streams in a day because my internet drops and kicks me off and then I have to rejoin like 5 times? I don't think so. I am getting a new computer shortly. I need to set it up before my husband leaves, but I think it's still a Wi-Fi issue, and the companies say that it's not, and I'm like, well, then why am I dropping off 5 times for a live stream and no one else is? I would love to know. Why don't you tell me why that is happening? Yeah, I'm being petty right now, but it really does piss me off. Because how much do we pay? This should not be happening. But I digress about my problems with my internet. And I'm just going to wrap that up for today's Q&A. Thank you so much for stopping by and sticking around. And if you didn't stick around for the whole thing, you jumped around possibly, I understand. But it is 6 years worth of questions. Not really. Just that I haven't done a Q&A for a while, and I was like, ooh, let's do it for 6 years. And yes, that is my husband knocking on the door. I'm going to ignore him. And I'm just going to wrap up and say that thank you for including... I'm sorry. You distracted me. Thank you so much for joining, and I don't know what I was saying before, but I'm just going to go with it. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your patience and just going on this ride for not just this video, but for any and all years that you have been with me.